Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to once again welcome you to the Nigerian Entertainment Conference 2016. My name is Kemi Adetiba. I'll be your moderator on this panel where we'll be discussing content marketing, the power of music, comedy, and more. Now, I am told we have very, very limited time, so I'm going to jump right into it. They have already introduced the panel, but I just want to clarify something real quick. Nkiru Njoku is the content producer for Project Fame. Okay, a round of applause for Nkiru. And then, of course, we know every other person. So let's just get right into the first question. I'm going to open up the floor. I want to also say that I want to do things differently this time. I want to engage with the audience. Now, if you have a question, just quietly raise up your hands. I'm going to open up the floor with the first question. But if you have any other questions at any time, you can also ask it, okay? All right. So I'm going to throw this to Nkiru. Now, before we start marketing content, we first have to create it, right? Right? Okay. So now, Nkiru, the entertainment industry has taken major strides over the last decade. Now, do you think we have enough training to move from where we are right now, or are we just optimizing on the fact that we have a very strong demand? Like, they're going to buy my tapes anyway, so let's just sell it. They're going to watch the television anyway, so let's just put anything we have on TV. Do you think we are adequately trained in the roles for creating content in Nigeria?
Okay. That question is going to elicit a very long answer. Because the thing is this, I, for instance, have absolutely no formal training in creating content. I studied geography education at university. I'm a writer, I'm a producer, I'm a director. Sheer talent and hard work, if I may say so myself. So I think that's what the industry is made of right now. A lot of people want to do these things, but we come from a background where our parents want us to study traditional courses at school. So you have people saying that, oh, you cannot be a writer, you can't be a filmmaker, you have to go and be a doctor or whatever. You know, and then they go and get these degrees, but then they come back and they do that thing that they really want to do. And we're not going to deny them that space in the entertainment industry. Now, what it is that, like myself, a lot of people learn on the job. We read, we watch everything we can watch, we apprentice, so to speak. You know, we attach ourselves to people who are already doing all the work that we want to do. So do we have adequate formal training? No. But on the job, I think that we're doing a lot of work. There's a lot of international content that we're creating in Nigeria here that is done by locals, including myself. So I think that is something to laud ourselves for.
Okay, like picking up from what you said, I'm going to ask Kathy, because I mean, especially what you do, which is dance. If somebody comes and tells their grandmother, their father, say, what do you want to be? Is I want to be a dancer. That's going to be a very interesting conversation, but you've been able to create a business out of it. Do you think there's a need for formal training, or is it just fine to be, you know, learn on the job, be an apprentice? You know, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I would say yes and no. Yes, in the sense that, as she said, we're in the creatives. Most of what we are and who we are comes from the passion of what we want to be. And we also tend to absorb from our environment to become that. And sometimes we don't have the necessary tools to quickly get to the formalization of that, you know, that acquisition of knowledge we are looking for. And as we grow, it expands and it becomes clear where we need it. In dance, for instance, it starts out from knowing how to coordinate your body to now deciding how far you want to take that profession. Then you now say, okay, I need more training in ballet. Oh, now I want to create a stage play. I have nothing about theatrical, I know nothing about theatrical production. I want to go into where I require training for it. So I think it's a step-by-step thing. And luckily for us, in the outside world, dance has become what you can study and have a BSc degree in. And you find out that it creates opportunities for dancers to understand the business ethics of venturing in such a trade. What I've been able to do with God's grace and some other colleagues of mine is to expose the youth to understanding that as a dancer, you can be a business person and excel in it. Skill acquisition is ongoing and it can never stop. You just need to keep, you know, educating yourself.
Thanks very much, Kathy. So, Sebastian, yes, you can clap. Does anyone have any questions so far? Okay. So let me speak to you, Sebastian. You own a digital company. What exactly does it do? Just
we help clients to understand how to break into the market, how to penetrate the market, and how to listen to their user, the customers. Because there is a lot of brands that they have great idea. They go to the market, but they just don't do the basic research, and then they don't follow. So basically, we help them to understand what people want. It's not about what you want to create, it's what you can give back to them. So basically, yeah, that's what we do.
Okay, so taking from that, in your experience, you've been going in and out of Nigeria for quite a while now, right?
It's actually my first time.
Oh, it's your first time? Okay, but okay. So with your experience so far, like I like to say the entertainment industry is a very large pond that has very few tadpoles in it. But that's my own opinion. Do you think that we are properly tapping into our resources? Are we utilizing to our full potential?
I would say no. It's a great developing nation. I can see a lot of happy, smiley people on the street that they just want more. And it's just a question to not look at them as one big mass of people, but who are the individuals in that, and what we can do as a company, as a brand, as an artist, you know, to help them become a better person. And it's, you know, I heard on the first session that a lot of people talk about oil. And there is one thing that someone said, it wasn't me myself, but they say data is the new oil. And I think there is a lack of data and understanding what people want and how we can deliver, how we can create the content that they will enjoy. It's not about, you know, let's throw something and let's see if it sticks. It's more about, you know, what they want and how we can do it better and just help them.
Awesome, thank you, Sebastian.
You're
now I'm going to throw this up because I'm sure a lot of people want to hear Tiwa speak. He said, wow. Oh, you have a mic? Okay, let me put this back. Now, Tiwa, of course, you are a content creator. Yes, you are a content creator. What are some of the obstacles that you face when you're trying to push that content, you know, to the public, to market it, so to speak?
What are the challenges?
In marketing that content now.
Yes, you know, I was in the UK recently, and what I noticed, one major thing I noticed was that they have these things called music pluggers, and so when you create your music, you know, you have professionals that actually go and plug your music to radio and, you know, different platforms. Now in Nigeria, you're literally the one going to the station with your CD on your flash drive. And that to me is a little challenging because you now almost have to have a relationship with OAPs or DJs, and, you know, in other parts of the world, I don't believe Rihanna really knows who the DJ is on the Breakfast Club, nor does she have to wish them happy birthday on their birthday, otherwise she'll be scared that they won't play her music. So for me, those are the little challenges we have. I mean, I love all OAPs and DJs, and I'll always wish you happy birthday, please play my music. But it's not practical to be that close to every single person. And it's not practical for you to individually go to all the radio stations across the country, and then you talk about across Africa. So the challenge that I find is getting my content out. We don't have that middleman or the professionals to actually get it to the right platform.
It's amazing you say that because just over the weekend, someone I'd gone to university with, I bumped into him and he was telling me he was the programs director or manager for like one of these stations. So I said, oh, so you're everyone's best friend now? And he goes, yeah. And he goes, it's so weird that he met an artist a few days ago, and then the day before I saw him, the artist called, hey, my friend. It's like, I barely know you, you know, so what do you think can be done? Because I mean, that's when it breeds also the payola. Can we say that? It breeds also payola and things like that. Do you still do you still deal with that, like payola? For payola, for people that do not know, is you have to pay for play.
No, my
Pay
big
for
bros are
play.
like, no, don't say anything. Well, I've been blessed. I feel like, you know, people genuinely love my music, and, you know, I've been blessed to be able to escape that. But unfortunately, I know that it does happen. And let's be frank, it happens in the UK and the US as well. You know, it does happen there as well. It's just that it's a bit more blatant here. Like the person will literally be, Banky Alpha now, something for the weekend. You know, it's a bit more blatant. But yeah, it does happen. And I would love to find a way where we can, you know, I think the problem is a lot of the professions we have are not really getting paid what they should. I think if OAPs really felt like they were getting what they should be paid, DJs and music producers and, you know, press people really were getting what they really deserve, I really don't think they would want to do that. It's uncomfortable for anyone to do that. It's not natural, you know. So I feel like we need to get to a stage in the industry where an OAP is really making enough money to be able to pay their rent, buy a car, and they don't have to do that. I don't think they want to do that either.
So, Baki, do you agree with that?
I definitely agree.
And then you own a label as well. So you might not have to, you're big enough now, you might not have to pay for play. But you do have people under your label that you're trying to push. Do you encounter that?
I don't want to talk too much because I feel like I've done that already. But I will say that I agree with Tiwa. I think that the structure of the music business in general needs a little bit of fixing in Nigeria. Not just so that OAPs and DJs are getting their just due, but everybody in the music value chain. So yes, the artist records, but the producers should be getting money on the back end. They should be getting royalties for everything that is played. I always like to use the example of Nice's Gongwaso album. In my opinion, one of the greatest albums that has ever come out of Nigeria in our history. But the producer that worked on it, I feel like didn't get his just due. Idi Kabasa should be a billionaire. His children's children should be eating off of the music that he made. But we have, anyway, so
No.
let me stop.
Okay. Nneka. And Nneka is the director of West African Hosting Center. Now, I have to learn to pronounce this. Uwawe. What does Uwawe do, and how can it also help content marketing? Because I really don't even know myself.
Okay, from our side, we looked at the industry, we looked at the markets. There seems to be a huge gap everywhere. Huawei has been in existence in Nigeria for like 10 years, or more than 10 years, but people don't really know us.
Yeah.
So what we were doing previously was to focus more on operators' needs. So now we looked at the industry and saw that there's a huge gap between the users, the networks, and the content owners. How can somebody in Sokoto want Banky W's music or Tiwa's music? What are the challenges they are facing to get their music out? They don't need to rely on radio, they don't need to rely on TV. So that's where we come in. So what Huawei does is we actually build platforms. So we are the platform owners for operators, and we work as a strategic partner with MTN to launch the service called Music Plus. So we looked at the market and said, in the ecosystem, we have comedians, we have musicians, we have dancers, we have real content in Nigeria. And how do we put this content out? So we build this platform for artists to be able to monetize their content. We also had to educate even the artists, because artists feel like they can give their songs for free. I don't understand that. Or in my own opinion, that's my own opinion, some artists have called me to say, oh, we're going to put our songs in this platform and it's for free.
Well, maybe because they're trying to reach as many people as possible. It's not I understand they need to monetize it, of course, but you're coming from a space of knowledge. Yeah. For them, they probably just want to push it out there and for it to reach the maximum number of people.
So in this year, what we have now decided to do, we're going to be doing more conferences, educating the artists, making them understand that they can actually make money from their intellectual property. Also, we have, right now, Music Plus seems to be the most successful music streaming service in Africa. And we have leveraged on our relationship with these artists, even the ones that we have reached out to the artists to also reach out to people that don't have their content up. I mean, I remember of recent, somebody said to me, how much is it to put my content up? It's free. If you have anything that you feel like can sell,
absolutely free?
Free of charge. You don't pay anything. So what we do is to get your content up and give access to the users to be able to stream or download your content. And that's what we've done.
Okay, so Mr. Patrick, what is your role in this partnership with Huawei? Sorry, Mr. Richard, I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you very much. I think before I say anything, let me just comment on something that happened before I came on stage. A young man came to me and he pushed a CD into my hand and he said, please help me with my music. And immediately it came to my mind that I think we need to work closer with Huawei and get the information out there that you don't need to push your CDs yourself. There are platforms you can do that. Platforms that exposes your content to millions of people immediately. So Nick has been modest. The success behind MTN's Music Plus, the success behind MTN's Scholar Ringback Tone, behind the scene is MTN working with Huawei to make that platform available. And we are proud to have Huawei as our partner. So what's the role we play? Think about it like MTN wants to build a marketplace. We want to build that platforms that enables our content producers, the artists, to monetize the work they do. Nick just said now that, some artists want to push it out for free. No, the truth is no, they want to monetize it, but they don't see the platforms where they can push it to monetize it. So in an attempt to get it out there, they are willing to just throw it anywhere it can be accepted. And I don't think that's the way to go. The world is changing. Let me just say a few things. The world is changing, and I think it's changing in the favor of the artists, which is a good thing. Last month, for the first time in the history, digital content revenue surpassed revenue from traditional channels to sell content, especially music. That's the first thing that has happened. Second thing that has happened is streaming is taking off like crazy. People, surprisingly to me, in my time, wanted to own your music. People want to stream music. And it makes sense, because why buy all the albums if you can pay subscription and stream anything you want, anytime you want it? Then thirdly, something that also works in the favor of the artists, I think, is that the way we consume music has dramatically changed. The way we consume content has dramatically changed. Thanks to telecom operators like MTN, thanks to the devices that are available now, smart devices, you can consume any content anywhere as long as you have access to the internet, which is where we come in. So we build the platform because we want our artists to monetize their work. We build that ecosystem. In MTN's, for instance, for MTN, we give you a marketplace of 60 million people strong. That's a guaranteed market if your content is good. But the content has to be good. Someone said to me as I was coming in that, is it that MTN pushes some products, some of the content more than the others? And I said, no. It's actually like a product. If you do your research well, you know what the market wants, and you give the market what they want, the market will find your content. So we don't preferably push anyone's product. If it's a good product, Tiwa just said she's lucky. She's not lucky, she's talented. She's talented, people know she's talented, so they go seek her music.
Yeah.
Same thing, if your content is good, we will give you that platform. We'll expose you to a base you can market to. And we enable that happen from MTN.
Okay, so we keep saying content and content and content and generalizing. Okay, I'll get to you in a second. Could you please be more explicit? So what type of content can a person put on your platform? Music, of course, right?
Okay, so let's take music as an example, because I like music.
But it's not just music, right?
No, not just music. So content can be comedy content, music content, you name it, whatever it is you can create that people want.
Poems, daily motivations.
Motivational speech. In fact, I was singing to Banky. I knew he was a good dancer. I knew he was a good singer. I didn't know he was a good speaker as well. So maybe we should do some content of Banky speaking and also market that. But that's beside the point. The point really is, if people want what you are creating. I think I saw Files here this morning. Thank you. If people like what you are creating, they will go for it. I remember the first time I saw a video clip of Files, I was so impressed. It turned out I wasn't the only one that was impressed. Nigeria was impressed. That kind of content, because people want it, if we provide a platform where you can monetize it, which is what we strive to do, there's no reason why artists should give it out for free. They should make money from it. It's hard work. Thank you.
That's a great point that you made, because Files, the short video that was like a meme on Instagram, you could have made a lot of money from that because it actually went viral. So what do you have to? Is there any limit to how long it should be, or?
No. So what we've done from MTN's point.
And what is the process, and how do they get to you, and what exactly is it?
Okay. First of all, you don't have to get to me.
Okay.
Let me take music as an example.
Let's take this Files particular video.
No, let me give a general example. Okay. So, how many people here know Music Plus? Music Plus is our streaming service for music. You can also download music. You can buy music there. But more importantly, apart from consuming music, as an artist, I don't even have to know you. You don't have to come to MTN. You can upload your work on Music Plus. And your peers will vote if your work is good or not. And if it trends in Music Plus, automatically we take notice that there's something going on here, and we can begin the engagement with that artist. So all you need to do is upload that content, and if it's good content, people will find it. In the case of the content that Files produced, that was the video content. So we have something now, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to announce this now. Okay, we have something we're working on. It's around comedy, MTN comedy. If you go to the booth behind the stage, we have a booth there where you can go check out some of the things we are doing around that. But it enables those kind of content, instead of you trying out for free, to be on that platform, and people who want to access it will have to pay subscription to access it, and you monetize that kind of work. So we have that platform now ready to take to the market. Okay, so we only have a few minutes left. Let me take some questions from the audience. This gentleman has been putting up his hands for a while. Could we throw him, well, don't throw it to him, but could we pass him a microphone, please? Can you get up? Thank you. Can we get him a microphone, please? Quick. No, the gentleman at the back, because he's been standing for a while, sorry. I apologize, I'll come to you, but he's been standing for a while.
Sir.
Yes. And who is your question for?
Generally to the entertainment sector.
Okay.
I'm Francis Adeboye by name. Why is it that entertainment talent hunt nowadays are very, very sentimental? We don't get to project the originality from it. And secondly is that, why is it that judges that come on board on the entertainment sector pertaining to the profession of it, they're actually not aligned to it, but they're getting to be the one judging the content? Why is it that it's coming to be on board like that?
Do you want to take that?
Yes, I'll take that. From my own corner in Project Fame West Africa, I think I can answer that. You don't have to be a music practitioner to be able to judge good music. I think that every single one of us in here, we have our tastes. And before we get judges onto these talent, I will speak for the talent show that I work for, the talent hunt show that I work for. Before we get judges onto our show, we make sure that there are people who are conversant with music, the music industry, the entertainment space. They understand these things. They don't have to necessarily be performing musicians before they can judge. And then, of course, it's not only one judge. You have about 3 judges. Sometimes we have 4 judges. And so opinions will be spread across the 4 of them. Yeah, but they're not necessarily singers. Sometimes lots of people want to say that if you're not a singer, you shouldn't be able to judge a singer, you know, or if you're not a hit musician, you cannot judge a singer. No, I don't understand the question about sentimentality, you know, but I will just say that with the show that I work for, Project Fame West Africa, sentiment is very important. What is sentiment really? I mean, we have to touch people's hearts. We have to touch people's souls. We have to create content that they can connect with. And if you're talking about favoritism, for instance, I'll say that is not, that doesn't really happen. I know it's really difficult. Even my younger brother at home tells me, you guys know exactly who's going to win. And it's untrue. Every single season, we backstage, we have people we're rooting for. We're saying, this looks like the winner for the year. Half the time we're wrong. You know, sometimes the person we want to win wins. That's because we're just rooting for them as people. But as a show, we do not have anybody who we see. Listen, let me tell you quickly about Chidinma, who won a couple of years ago. Chidinma, when she came for her auditions, she was one of the last people to audition in Lagos. She was tired, she was sweaty. A colleague of mine called me and he said to me, Njoku, this girl, now she go win this year. And I'm like, how you take no? And then he says to me, listen, she's been here all day, all morning. She didn't give up. She's been singing consistently all day. The voice is still the same thing, even though she's tired. You know, and then eventually she turned out to be the winner because West Africa loved her. She just didn't go on probation and all that stuff. So it's really difficult for people to believe this. I understand there's a lot of money at stake. There's a car at stake, or there are cars at stake and stuff like that. But trust me, there's no sentimentalism. There's no favoritism.
Okay, we're going to take another question. But while we're looking, okay, there was a gentleman. Do you know what? This gentleman over here, while we're getting him a microphone, please don't lynch me. While we're getting him a microphone. What? Okay, so let's just do this. So him, the lady at the back over there, the one with the sunglasses in the head, and then the guy with the hat. The guy with the hats, yeah. So we're going to take those 3 questions. But while we're doing that, because she mentioned something, I just wanted to ask a quick question. Now, Banky, Tiwa, when you're creating music, are you already thinking about marketing? Does that limit your creativity? Say, I want to really do like a slow ballad, but now what is raining in the clubs? Bish, bish, bash, bash. No, seriously. Like, you just came back, you just had a baby, and you came back. Is there pressure on you to, or do you still feel like you're in that space where you can follow your creativity, or you need to break in with a sound or with an image that you know the public wants to see at this point in time, which is marketing? So is there pressure on you for that?
I think initially, most artists, when you first start out, you're not really thinking of the industry. You're just doing music, your own genre, you know, whatever. And it's from the heart, you know, it's just a hobby. After your first album, and you've been in the industry for a while, you've been to a couple of shows where maybe you were performing and people are just sitting down and looking at you, or, you know, you've had a lot of situations where you are not really hearing your song on the radio. When it's time to create your second album, you'll be like, I'm a bish bish brand new. Because will I say that's what the people want. Unfortunately, that happens. But for me, it didn't. Because when I was creating my second album, I did it while I was pregnant. And I was actually away from the scene. So I didn't really know what was
influenced.
Yeah. And I was at a point where a lot of people were doubting whether I would be able to come back strong. And so I felt I had nothing to lose. I wasn't going to do anything to please anybody. I was able to really do the kind of music that I wanted to do. I know the market a bit more now, and I know what people kind of want to listen to. But ultimately, I still want to do something that I personally would enjoy. So I think it depends on the artist. Some people do music just because they think that's what the people want to hear. But for me personally, I always obviously try and do music from the heart. So.
Okay, the gentleman real quick in the blue suit. Yes.
Thank you. My name is Melvin. I work with Brand Essence and consult for Sketch Promotions. My question goes to Mr. Richard.
Mr.
Please, I just want to know, because you've been saying something about Music Plus. I want to know the measures you've taken to educate upcoming artists and also your target audience about this wonderful platform. I just want to know the measure. That's number one question. Number two, to Mr. Banky. You said something about...
Sorry, we can only take one question, please. I know, we don't have enough time.
Very
we can
fast.
take...
Let me just ask him,
okay.
please. Banky, you said when you create good content, brands will buy into it. Brands will buy into your good content if you create content. Now, you said you took your content to C-Rock. You sold a particular content to them and they bought it. Now, because you're a known face, how do you leverage this when you just come in, an upcoming, individual, and how do you, leverage on this?
Okay. Mr. Richard, he made a point there because, when you asked people that knew about, they said Music Plus, and not a lot of people put up their hands.
Yeah.
So that's a problem. So how are you marketing this out? How are you letting the public know about this initiative?
Okay, very good question. But that also tells me, looks like we have to do a better job at marketing Music Plus, because it's a really fantastic product for streaming music and for listening to music and downloading music. A couple of things we've done. So what you haven't seen, I think, is a big bang above the line campaign on Music Plus. But below the line, there's been a lot of things we have been doing. So let me give you two examples. At the moment, there's something called Next Rated, right? It's a simple campaign where users generate content and they vote and they get people to like their content. So how that happens is, if you think your content is good, then get people you know to come to Music Plus and vote for you. And amazingly, that has created awareness beyond what we are doing. The second thing we started doing recently, we are owning Thursday now. So every Thursday evening, we have a Music Plus Music Plug Unplugged night at Fuse Lounge. We bring in some of our ambassadors, they perform, but the primary aim is we use that platform to campaign and let people know what Music Plus really is. But I take your point. I think we need to do a better job at exposing Music Plus, because it's a really nice product.
Okay, to answer the second question, I think the problem today is people want to skip the process. People want to skip the paying dues part. So you make good music and you think that you should be able to walk into any office and have a meeting with anybody. It doesn't work like that. There were years of work behind the scenes to get myself to the point where I can make that call. You can't skip the process. Success, listen, God is not going to be mocked. Success is not going to be cheated. You have to do I love that Files is here. When Files first started, I guarantee you he couldn't walk into anybody's office. But he believed in his content and he pushed it and he did everything necessary. Now there's no brand that Files will call that will not open the door to him. So you can't skip the process. You can't cheat success. You have to do the work. It's not, an unsigned artist, I want to walk into Zero. It doesn't work like that. You have to do the work and build yourself up to the point where you now can make those kinds of calls. But there's so much you have to do before you get to that point. Wizkid is a fantastic example. Okay, let me stop. Because Kemi gave me the eye. Let me stop. If you let me talk, I will talk for the rest of today. It's okay.